My message is of course a continuation ng nakaraan. For those of you who are not here, my message is actually entitled The Seven Levels of Faith. Dapat maintindihan natin ang faith ay hindi isang level lang. Once na tinanggap mo ang Panginoon by faith, that's it. That's the finish line. No, it's not the finish line. Faith has levels, just like school. There are kindergarten, middle school, high school, even graduate school. Pero as I've said, imagine kung nag-drop out ka na, grade 2 ka pa lang. Kasi you thought that's the finish line. So that's what sometimes the church often looks like today. Crowded at the early levels, but almost empty at the advanced ones. So, dapat maintindihan natin. So the first level, pinag-aralan natin is the saving faith. This is the beginning. Without the level 1, wala yung susunod na level. So we start with the level 1, which is the saving faith. This is when you believe in Christ, repented of your sin, confess Him as Lord and Savior of your life, and have been baptized in His name. That's the level 1. But that does not end there. Here's the level 2, surviving faith. Yung surviving faith we talked about is, it means this faith believe in God but only reacts to crisis but never grows roots. Walang ugat. Naniniwala siyang may Diyos, pero pagka merong problema sa buhay, natatakot siya, nagwo-worry siya, and hindi siya nagkaroon ng ugat. The third is what we call the growing faith. Ito sana maganda na dito the growing faith. An example natin si Abraham na inutusan ng Diyos na umalis sa kanyang bayan kahit walang mapa, kahit walang other details dun sa instruction, kinakamagaan, umalis agad si Abraham. So growing faith obeys without full understanding. Kahit hindi mo na iintindihan at naunawaan. And ang characteristic niyan, wala na yung fear, wala na yung worry. Growing faith, trust God daily. Alright? And then we have the level 4, tested faith. In example natin si Job. The testing of your faith, sabi, produces what? Perseverance. So, trial don't destroy your faith. They prove it. They prove it. So, your faith, more precious than gold, may be proved genuine. Dito mo makikita kung gaano talaga ka-genuine. Baka surviving faith ka lang, pero doon sa tested faith, pino-prove. Now, let's go to level 5. Alright? Are you ready for this? Sana maging exciting to and matanong nyo afterwards sa kalabang level. Okay? Alright. The fifth level is what we call bold faith. Pananampalatayang matapang. Siguro, that's a word na. Now, sabi dito, bold faith steps out when God calls. Ang pinakamagandang example, bold faith steps out when God calls. Walang kahit saan ka nandun. Alright? Kahit saan ka nandun. Ang pinakamagandang example nito si Peter. Alright, si Peter. Si Peter, yung mga apostles, nauna si Kristo, doon sa kabilang ibayo, pinasunod niya lang kanyang mga alagad, ginabi na, tumawid sila doon sa Sea of Galilee, and then biglang dumating ang isang bagyo, alright? Nung dumating yung bagyo, natakot sila sa lakas ng bagyo, and then suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, merong isang maliwanag, isang tao ang hugis na naglalakad sa tubig. And natakot sila. Mismo ko, natatakot ko. Siguro gabi-gabi, kayo lang nandun sa gitna ng bar. Natakot sila, sabi nila, ako, multo. Natatakot din pala sila sa multo nung araw. Pero nagsalita yung sinasabi nilang multo, sinabi nila, huwag kayong matakot, hindi sa akin. So nagpakilala si Kristo. Alright? Nagpakilala si Kristo. Hindi sa, nakikita talaga nila nasa ibabaw ng tubig si Kristo. And itong si Pedro nang makita si Kristo nga. And sabi sa word, and Peter shout, look at this. Sabi dito sa Matthew 14:28 to 29, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. And Jesus said just one word, Lord, kung ikaw nga yan, utusan mo ako, pumunta sa'yo dyan. Exciting yun, no? Grabe! Isa lang salita ni Kristo. O, liga. Isa lang yung wordplay. Come. That's just the word. Come. O, sige, ikaw. Pag ikaw, ano sa mga yan? Ikaw pupunta? Alam mo naman ang law of buoyancy. Alam mo naman ang scientific explanation eh. Pag sinabi sa'yo, come. Nako, si Peter talaga may bold faith. That's bold faith. Regardless, pag sinabi ng Diyos, come. Pag sinabi ng Diyos salita niya, wala ng question, walang pagdududa, walang takot, walang worry. So si Peter, pag sinabi ni Christ na come siya, punta siya. Alam mo nangyari? He walked on water. Sa balat ng lupa, walang tao na nakaranas na lumakad sa tubig, maliban lang si Pedro. Wala. Eh sabi niyo, lumubog naman siya. Oo nga. yun lang ang isang ano dun eh. Pero itong nangyari. So, nakatingin siya kay Jesus Christ, lumalakad siya sa tubig. Pero bumaling sa alon, sa waves, at saka sa hangin yung pananaw, na wala yung focus niya kay Christ, kanya siya yung lumubog. And bago siya lumubog, and sabi nun, when he was beginning to sink, nag-uumpisa pa lang siya lumubog, tinawakan siya ni Kristo. Itinaas siya, pinatungtong ulit sa tubig. Okay, look at this. Look at this. That's bold faith. It's risky, it's uncomfortable, and yes, look at this. Peter began to sink when he took his eyes off Jesus. But don't miss this. He was the only disciple who actually walked on water. So sabi, sige, lumubog nga siya. Pero asan yung labing isa? Asan yung labing isa? Nandun lang sila, nanunood lang sila. So sino ang bold? Sino ang may pananampalataya talagang matapang? Kahit na lumubog siya, kahit na ano pang nangyari siya, pero importante dun sa lahat na sinabi ni Christ na come. He dared step on the word. I think that's bold faith. Pero hindi yun ang talagang sentro ko eh. Meron kasi akong nabasa sa banal na kasulatan na talagang mas bold ito. Let me just illustrate this. Ang nakalagay dito, bold faith take risk in obedience and stand firm in spite of hostility. Ang matapang daw na pananampalatayang may katapangan ay yung kahit na ano pang risk basta't susunod. At kahit na gaano kalupit ang maging consequences ng pagsunod na yun, susunod siya. And let me take you to Daniel. Ito matindi ito kinanta natin, pero I just would like to give you the background. Sa Daniel 3, itong si Nebuchadnezzar, kilala niyo napakinggan niyo naman si Nebuchadnezzar. Sila po ay alipin at bihag ng Babylonia. Itong si Nebuchadnezzar ay gumawa ng isang statue. It was told that it was an image of himself, made of gold. 90 feet ang height. 90 feet, napakalaki. And 9 feet ang width. And nang pinagawa niya yun, alright? And nang pinagawa niya yun, inutos ng mga governors sa lugar na yun na pagka narinig nila ang flauta, narinig nila ang trompeta, narinig nila ang sound ng lahat ng music, ang lahat ay luluhod at yuyukod dun sa statue na yun. So every time na mahirinig nila yung mga instrumento ng music, luluhod ang bawat isa, saan ka man nandun, ano man ang nasyon mo, ano man ang salita, luluhod ka. Now, napansin ng mga gobernador na yung mga Israelitas, may mga ibang Israelitas na hindi lumuluhod. Kilala niyo sila eh. Pangalan nila ay Meshach, Shadrach, at Abednego. So pinatawag ni Haring Nebuchadnezzar. And sinabi niya sa kanya, ba't hindi daw kayo sumusunod sa patakaran ko, sabi ng hari. Alam niyo man ang salita ng hari, hindi dapat mabali. Alright? Babasahin ko yung verse 15. Verse 15. Start sa verse 15. Look at this. Verse 15. Pinagsabihan sila, now when you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, cedar, lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and if you hear them, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, very good. But if you do not worship it, what? You will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand? Grabe yung hamon na yun. What God will rescue you from my hand. It's the hamon. Grabe mo rin yung Diyos nila. Alright. Now, ganito ang sagot nila in next verse please. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. Next verse. Next verse. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it. And He will rescue us from your hand, O King. Grabe. Grabe ang sagot na. Look at this. Yung blazing furnace, yun yung hurno. Hindi po kagaya ng mga hurno sa bakery yun. Napakatindi kanya sinabing blazing furnace, napakatindi po talaga, napakalaking furnace noon. Ang kanilang pananampalataya is this. They know the law. They know the law. Sinabi sa law, I am the God who takes you out from the land of Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me. That's the law. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make any image of any likeness in heaven, on earth, or under the earth. You will not serve them, you will not bow down to them, and you will not worship them, for I am a jealous God. That's the command. So, sabi nila, no, hindi kami luluhod because we know na kung itatapon mo kami sa nagbabagong hurno, ang Diyos namin ililigtas kami at ililigtas niya kami sa iyong kamay. That's bold. Pero hindi yan ang dahilan kanya sinabing bold. But even if He does not, we want you to know, O King, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold that you have set. Pero tandaan mo ito, O Hari, kahit hindi kami ligtas ng aming Diyos, kahit hindi kami sakipin ng aming Diyos doon sa nagbabagong hurno, we will not bow down and worship.
Yes.
And you know what happened, right? Grabe, he's the fourth man in the blazing fire. Alam niyo, sa Hebrews, merong word doon some put off the fiery fire. Some put off the fiery fire. Sila yung tinutukoy niyo sa Hebrews 11. Na hindi man lang daw nasunod ng bahagya, ano tawag doon, natouch ng apoy yung buo. And they came up. untouched by the fire. Now, listen to this. Bold faith obeys God and leave all the consequences of his obedience to him. That is bold faith. Grabe. Napakaganda naman. Hindi ka takot. Yung tayo napakatakot natin. Pagka nabuto sa Diyos, di ba yung pangako niya? I will be with you always, even until the end of this world. So be strong and be of good courage because the Lord your God will always be with you. So sa mga mapaghamon na kabanata ng buhay natin, let's have a bold faith. Here's the 6. The 6 is what we call the overflowing faith. Ganun pa rin, parang doon sa the cup that runneth over sa Psalms 23. Look at this. This is where faith is no longer just about you. It spills out. It becomes contagious. It strengthens others even in your weakest moments. Faith, your faith, now impacts others. That's the overflowing. So hindi na para sa'yo. Hindi na sa'yo. Yung faith mo, nakikita ng iba. So, ang example ko rito ay si Paul and Silas in Acts 16. Huwag mo na medyo mahaba ito. Just to give you this story. Si Paul and Silas ay kinanguhian ng tao sa kanilang pinangangaralan. Kasi may kinas silang demon sa isang babae na maghuhula. Fortune teller. Dahil kasi nung makita sila ng babae, hindi reveal kung sino sila. You are the servants of God, of the Most High God. So, parang na-annoy si Paul and inalis niya, kinas out niya yung spirit dun sa bata. Eh ngayon yung may hawak sa bata, yung manager ng bata na wala ng trabaho, kanya sinumbong sa Sanhedrin, sa mga nangungunang mga tao sa lugar nila. And so, ang ginawa ngayon ng Sanhedrin ay inireport sa Rome. Sinabing sila ng gugulo at sila ay ikinulong. Look at it. Sabi dito, nung sila sa kulungan, ayon sa Acts 16, they are beaten, they were chains, and locked in the deepest part of the prison. Now, pagka ikaw sa paggawa mo ng mabuti, hahampasin, parurusahan, ibibilanggo, at itatali sa kadena, most people would be weeping. Because sabi, ano ba nagawa ko? Mabuti naman ginawa ko, ba't nagkaganito ako? Pero not Paul and Silas. Look at this. Maybe iba pa nga, question ng Diyos eh. But what do they do? Sabi sa Acts 16, just read it. At midnight, look at this. At midnight, they're praying and singing hymns loud enough for the other prisoners to hear. Grabe. Madaling araw. Ang ginagawa nila daw they're praying and singing hymns loud enough para mapakinggan ng ibang mga prisoners. Their faith created an atmosphere of hope in the darkest place. Overflowing faith doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means that even in the middle of pain, you radiate trust in God so strongly that it inspires others. It's when people look at you and say, if they can still sing in that situation, maybe I can keep going on too. It inspires others. Yung pananampalataya mo. Kaya sabi siguro ng Diyos, let your light so shine before man that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Grabe. It's something that you do for others. It's not just about you. Hindi na yung sa'yo lang. It's faith that affects and inspires others. In Matthew 25, look at this. I'd like to start with 31, just a bit, just for you to understand the meaning of an overflowing faith. When the Son of Man comes in His glory, and all the angels with Him, He will sit on His throne in heavenly glory. Look at this. All the nations will be gathered before Him. And He will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep
from the goats. Next. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you are blessed of my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in." Next. "I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Next. Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you, or needy clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did it for me." Alam mo, nung binabasa ko to, ito ang mga basis pa nga nung mga tao na dumadalaw sa mga prisoners, doon sa mga bilangguan, para mag-ministry sa kanila. Pero itong salita ni Jesus Christ dito is much, much more than dun sa situations natin ngayon. Kasi sa kanila, iba. Hindi ba sila Pablo, sila Silas, binilanggo? Sa palagay nyo kaya, ano ba ang klase ng bilangguan nung unang panahon? Kapag ka ang isang Kristiyano binilanggo, definitely, ang kasalanan nila, nangaral sila ng Ebanghelyo. Pagka, halimbawa tayo dito, nung unang panahon tayo nagaganito, and then pagkatapos, paglabas mo, may humuli sa'yo, na alam, ito, Kristiyano to. Kinakailangan ibalanggo natin ito. Ilagay natin sa darkest place at babayaan natin siyang magutom. Kasi po, mga nasa kulungan po, hindi pinapakain. Mamamatay ka sa gutom. At hindi ka rin pinaiinom, yung damit mo, kung ano lang yung damit mo, yun na yun. And lahat ng klase ng suffering dun sa bilangguan yung mararanasan mo. Now, meron diyan sinabi, "Ako'y nabilanggo at dinalaw mo ako. Wala akong nakikitang pinakamatapang sa lahat, kundi ang isang Kristiyano na dadalaw sa isang Kristiyano sa bilangguan, sapagkat maa-identify siya na kasama ng taong yon. Magdadala siya ng pagkain, magdadala siya ng inumin, magdadala siya ng damit just for the sake. Pero pagdating pa lang sa kanino mo ibibigay yan? Kay Peter po at kay Silas. Ay, halika, kasama ka na." Now, the question is, kapag ka gano'n na sitwasyon, pupunta ka pa ba? Dadalawin mo pa ba? Yung sabi ko nga for those of you, na sabi ni Kristo, gawin nyo. Regardless kung ano maging consequences, basta obey God and leave all the consequences of your obedience to Him. That's bold. That's bold. And that is what God is actually asking us to direct our faith. Not just bold, but overflowing. It's overflowing that will inspire others. And here's something powerful. Look at this. Sometimes the most effective witness isn't your sermon, but your scars. It's when people see your wounds and also see you worship, that combination is irresistible. Grabe. So napakagandang halimbawa ni Jesus Christ. We just don't see Him speak. He will show His scars. And yung combination daw ng dalawang yon is irresistible. That's why overflowing faith is so transformative. It preaches even when your mouth is silent. Hindi ka kinakailangan magsalita. All you have to do is just show it. And it will inspire others. It will. Let me give you the last. Here's the last. The level 7 is what we call mountain moving faith. Naku, Brad, wala naman na yatang makakagawa niyan. Eh, but sinabi ni Christ, sinabi niya to eh. Let's flash this. Matthew 17:20, look at this. Matthew 17:20 says something like this. He replied, because you have so little faith, I tell you the truth. Now when he says, I tell you the truth, this is true. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Baka mamaya bukas may pumunta sa Pangasinan at may matatanaw na isang bundok doon, ha? At uutusan nyo by faith. So siguro merong deeper meaning yung sinasabi sa atin dito. Now let's be clear. This isn't about you becoming some kind of a superhero who gets whatever you want. Mountain moving faith isn't about bending God to your will. It's about being so aligned with His will that His power flows through your trust, through your faith. Yung will niya was so aligned, your prayer is so aligned to His will that His power flows through you. It's the place where your prayer aren't just words, they're weapons. It's the place where your confidence in God is so deep that even the impossible looks small compared to Him. Let me ask you a question. Kung meron kayong imposibleng gustong hingin sa Diyos, ano yon? Have you tried that? Just think. Ano, imposible. Well, some of you have done that. May mga imposibleng bagay kayo na hiningi sa Diyos. And many times in our life, ibinibigay niya yon. Ito yung mga, kasi sa Old Testament, makikita natin ito eh. Pero let me just give you this a little bit. For example, si Elijah, nakapagpababa ng apoy eh. Siya na ba yung pinakamatindi? Oh. Baka hindi nyo kilala si Joshua. Ano yung prayer ni Joshua? Kasi hindi niya malupig-lupig yung 5 king of the Amorites. Napakaraming kaaway, napakarami. And sila'y kukunti lang. Pag gumabi, tsak na matatalo sila. So ang ginawa niya, Lord, pahintuin mo ang araw at ang buwan. Grabe. Hindi lang bundok yon. Hindi niya lang kaya. Ang Diyos natin is the God of the impossible. Everything is possible with God. So sabi, may nabasa ko eh, when human strength ends, when human strength ends, the power of God begins. Wala ka nang magagawa eh. Wala ka na. But there is a mountain moving faith that's so... Naalala ko tuloy si Moses eh. Si Moses, nagtagumpay na sila sa Ehipto eh. Kalalabas lang nila eh. Nung kalalabas nila, nandun sila sa pampang ng Red Sea, nagtayo na sila ng camp kasi nga magpapahinga lang sila sa mahabang nilakad nila. Pero nagbago pala isip ng Parao, ang ginawa, nilusob sila. And doon sa kinalalagyan nila, nung tumanaw sila sa dako ng Ehipto, nakikita nila yung napakalaking alikabok. Napakalaking alikabok. At nang tinanaw na sila malayo, lahat ng sundalo ni Parao, pati mga chariots, lahat ng mga drivers niya, lahat ng klase ng weaponry, nandun. At lulusubin sila. So ano nangyari sa mga taga-Ehipto? Yung mga taga-Ehipto, hindi alam, para mga daga na nagpupulasan, hindi alam ang gagawin. At nang wala na silang magawa at alam na nila, mamamatay sila. Sinabi nila kay Moses, kanya mo lang pala kami dinala dito dahil papatayin mo lang kami. Napakarami libingan sa Ehipto. Bakit dito pa sa coast na ito mo kami ililibing? Grabe ano. Pero si Moses ay tumayo. Be still. Tumahimik kayo, sabi niya. Yung ngayong nakikita niyong mga Ehiptong yan, maya-maya lang, hindi nyo na sila kailanman makikita. Grabe. Grabe. And this, sabi sa kanya ng Diyos, alright, Moses, huwag kayong huminto. Dumiretso kayo. At huwag ka nang dumalangin pa. I understand. Itaas mo ang iyong staff sa harap ng dagat. At ako nang bahala sa susunod. Sabi sa banal na kusal, this is the exact word. And God caused a strong wind to blow from the east. A strong wind. A violent wind. And it separate the sea. Yan ang sabi ka doon eh. Hindi lang bundok yun. Pero sige, subukan mong humati ng dagat naman. And lumakad sila sa tuyong lupa. Mountain moving. And nakatala yun sa Hebrews, yung ginawa ni Moses na yon because of his faith. Mountain moving faith. Grabe. So, these were moments when human faith lined up perfectly with God's plan. And the result shook history. Mountain-moving faith today might not look like fire from heaven, or the sun standing still, or the sea separated. Jesus obviously was not intending for his disciple literally to be tossing mountains into the sea. Mantak mo. Kung totoo yung kadaming chaos, earthquakes, tsunamis, and more, pagka ginawa natin palipat-lipat yung mundo kung saan mo gustong ilipat. But we all face mountain in our lives. That's it. Kasi kung titingnan mo yung konteksto, kinumpare niya yung small mustard seed. And then pagkatapos binigyan niya yung size mountain problems sa buhay ng bawat isa sa atin. So we all face mountains in our lives, obstacles, mga hadlang, relational breakdowns, illness, and other seemingly insurmountable barriers. But take hope. Faith can move mountains. Oh, yes, it will. And I believe that. Kasi alam ko yung sa inyo, especially minsan yung may mga sakit, I've heard people, may mga cancer pa nga, and believe and pray to the Lord. That's the power of your faith. Last na lang, meron lang ako ikukwento sa inyo kasi I'd like to end here. I know some of you perhaps know this person. The name is David Livingstone. Pagka hindi nyo kilala at gusto nyo malaman ang talambuhay niya, just pumunta na lang kayo sa internet. Si David Livingstone is known as the Africa's greatest missionary. He first began his ministry in the inner parts of Africa. This is the pioneering work. Ang Africa, kagaya rin siguro ng mga naunang Pilipinas, puros tribes. Nakakatakot na tribes ang Africa. Pag nagpunta ka sa Africa, sa pioneering works, this was in almost 19th century. Mga 1850s, mga ganon. Now, some of the native tribes opposed him. One particularly warlike tribe said that they were going to kill him and everyone in his party. So nag-camp sila sa isang part sa Africa na kung saan masyadong hostile, masyadong mababagsik yung mga tribo, and binalaan sila na sila ipapatayin. One afternoon, as they were setting up camp, word was out that these warriors had been tracking him all day, and they were outside the camp, and they were going to attack and kill everyone when it got dark, kung hindi sila aalis doon. Kung ikaw si David Livingstone, by the way, is a medical missionary. He is a doctor. Umalis na kayo, mamayang gabi, papatayin namin kayo. Making reference to that evening, he wrote those words in his journal on January 14, 1856. Nando sa kanyang journal. Nasa diary niya itong bagay na to. It is evening. Sabi doon sa diary, nakasulat. It is evening, I feel much turmoil and fear in the prospect of having all of my plans knocked on the head by savages who are just now outside the camp. Sabi niya, masisira ang aking ministeryo. Nandun na sa labas ang handang magwasak nito. Pati ang buhay namin. Those who studied his handwriting said, you could even see the fear in the way he wrote the letters. Yung sa mga nagbasa daw nung kanyang journals, nakikita yung pati pagsulat yun sa journals kung siguro nanginginig. He wrote, but Jesus said. So nung habang nanginginig siya, pero sinulat niya, but Jesus said, all power is given unto me in heaven and earth. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the ends of the earth. Livingstone wrote, this is the word of a gentleman of most strict and sacred honor. So that's the end of my fear. I feel quiet and calm now. Yun ang nakasulat sa akin. Ang sabi niya, yung nagsabi nito, I am with you always, is a gentleman of most strict and sacred honor. Is Jesus Christ. Sinabi niya to. And then sabi dito, I feel so quiet now and calm down. So they were ready. They were just waiting. Nalusubin sila doon sa loob at pagpapatayin sila. They didn't attack that night. Natapos, nag-umaga, walang lumusob. And then years later, yung chief nung papatay sa kanila, tumanggap kay Kristo. Just imagine that. Yung chief nung papatay sa kanila, tinanggap si Kristo. At naging kaibigan ni Livingstone. Naging kaibigan siya. And then minsan nung nag-uusap sila, Chief, hindi ba sinabi mo na lulusubin mo kami nung gabing yun, nung January 14? Ano nangyari? Ba't hindi ka lumusob? Sabi nung chief is this, lumusob kami. Bakit hindi namin naramdaman? Pero bago kami pumasok doon sa compound nyo, nakakita kami ng 47 na malalaking tao na may hawak na espada. They are warriors na nagbabantay sa inyo. Teka muna, hindi pa yan. Sabi, wala naman kami nakita. Sabi ni David Livingstone, wala kami nakita. We never saw anything. No, what we did, binilang pa namin. Those are all written in his diary. And then David Livingstone was baffled because they didn't have any guards. Later, when he was on a furlough in Scotland, he shared this story at the church that was supporting him. So, sinare niya yun sa church na nagsusupport sa kanya. And then after na-share niya, after siya magsalita, a man came up to him afterwards with his prayer journal. Secretary pala ng church. Lumapit sa kanya na may hawak na journal. He said, yung secretary said, look, I wrote it down. January 14, 1856. Was that the night? David Livingstone said, yes. The man said, that night, a group of men came to pray for you. We prayed for your protection. I wrote it down. There were 47 men praying that night for you. We prayed for you. 47 men. And here's the challenge. Most of us never get there. Why? Because we stop at level 2, where faith is all about survival. But Jesus calls us higher. He wants us to step into a faith so alive, so confident in Him, that the impossible become possible. All we have to do is to have that faith, a mountain-moving faith. That's the level that we have to reach. So step up higher. Step up higher. And let us live by faith. Let us all stand up. Let us all stand up. Oh, Father in heaven, Lord, it's so amazing. Your words, the examples that we saw. Lord, sana wag kaming makontento. Just the starting faith, the saving faith, and the surviving faith. Oh, Father, help us to grow in our faith and reach up to the level 7. Where trust and confidence is established and firm, no matter what the cost. Because you will always be there for us. You will always be there for us. And we honor you and thank you, oh Lord, so much. Because we know hindi magiging magbabago ang aming pananampalataya with this. And help us to aim higher. Help us to aim higher until we reach that level. Mountain-moving faith in our lives. Ang biyaya ng ating Amang sumasalangit, ang pag-ibig ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo, ang ilaw at tanglaw ng Espiritu Santo ay sumainyo, sumaatin nawang lahat. Amen.